This is Fender Fabrication. My name's Scott. This is shop update number 8, January 31st, 2018. First shop update of this year. It's been just a hair over 3 weeks since I did a shop update. One of the reasons that that's been the case is I lost the camera. There's been some other things going on. We've had some snow in the area, and if you're not from an area with snow, 3-4 inches every day, you end up having to do a couple hours worth of work before you can even start to work. So anyway, not trying to make excuses. That's just one of those things in life. But I've got several things I want to talk about today. A lot of which is not going to be some of the things that I've talked about in the past. The shop up there, the office update. There's been absolutely zero progress since the last shop update in the office. So we're not going to talk about that. Tax trouble. One of the things that I've been spending some time in the last 3 weeks getting sorted out, and I'm happy to say that I've finally got everything sorted out. And this actually started over a year ago. Let's go back all the way. I started the Fender chassis in 2008. Formally, I was doing work on the side before that, but don't tell anybody. And in 2008, I went and got a business license from the state of West Virginia, and also the city of Parkersburg, because at the time we were doing business in the city of Parkersburg, and collected sales tax, sent it to the state for a couple of quarters there. Everything was great, but then didn't do any work for a quarter. Didn't have anything come through the shop. I'm working a day job, and nobody needs anything on the side, so nothing happens. So rather than being diligent and filling out those forms, putting all zeros on it, sending it in, I failed to do so. And for several years there, that's what happened. And I would send in sales tax when I collected it, but didn't. Well, when we moved the shop up to this new location, I went to the state tax office and talked to them about changing my address. And they said, "Well, hey, listen, you got to catch up on all these state tax forms that were all zeros, but they were never formally sent in." So I couldn't believe how many that I'd actually missed. So my advice is to keep up to speed on that stuff. And it was really quite the hassle. I was lucky. Like I said, this started when I moved the shop over a year ago, and that's when they let me know this. And in 2016, I had zero business. So I hadn't sent the forms in. It wasn't a big deal. But last year we did work out of the shop, collected sales tax, and since I'm now on a yearly filing for sales tax, I had to send that in before January 20th. Well, I guess yesterday would have been the deadline. So I knew I had to get that stuff straightened out. And when I was in there a year ago, the people I talked to were not real helpful. I don't know what your DMV is like, but government employees don't always tend to be the most helpful. They're going to make their dime whether they help you or not. But I knew I had to get this stuff straightened out, so I called in here a couple weeks ago. I talked to a different lady, much more helpful. Part of the problem was that the tax forms over since 2008 had changed at least twice, maybe 3 times. So to go back and fix this problem, since I no longer had the forms that they sent me, I had to go print out the correct tax forms. And then you got to fill them out for whether it's quarterly or whether it's yearly, and it was just, just because a guy can TIG weld and fabricate doesn't mean that he's real good at figuring this stuff out. So anyway, I called back a couple weeks ago, talked to a different lady. She offered to print the forms out for me to have the correct header, basically duplicates of what I had already received in the mail, and all I had to do was go back and fill those out. So that's all taken care of. And I now have a legitimate business license again, because unbeknownst to me, I didn't realize they weren't issuing me a business license every year because of all that stuff being delinquent. They were still sending me the forms, but they weren't issuing me a business license. So I don't think it's a big deal. I don't think that I've committed a felony or anything of that nature for doing business. As long as the state, what they care about is getting their money. So they've got their money, and I've got all the forms filled out. That issue is completely straightened out as far as I know. If you guys got comments on this, you want to give advice, you got questions about what happened, it's probably different in your states, put them down in the comments, or send me an email, defenderchassis@yahoo.com, and if I can help you out, I will. Next thing I want to talk about is YouTube. I don't know if you watch my channel a lot, you realize here a few months back that I monetized my channel. And I did that not because I want to make a huge amount of money off doing these videos, but because I wondered if my channel, I got other friends that are doing this, and I say friends, but people I know that have started this about the same time I did, and their channels are more successful than mine. And a lot of it has to do with content. There's a lot of reasons for that. But one of the things that kind of went through my mind was, does YouTube promote stuff that they can get advertising dollars for a little more quickly? So that was the reason why I monetized the channel. Not because I'm going to make a huge amount of money, but because I wanted to see if it would put a little jump in the channel, and it did. It did. Initially, I got several videos that were I'm not sure why or how, but they suddenly started spiking in viewership. And but you may not be aware if you don't have a YouTube channel, but YouTube just sent out a notice to everybody, and I think it's February 18th. They're going to disallow monetization of channels that have under 4,000 hours in the last 12 months of viewership and under 1,000 subscribers. Now I'm right at 431 subscribers as of today. And if you haven't subscribed, by the way, go ahead and do that. And even if you don't watch the videos every time, at least it helps out some smaller channels that want to grow and get bigger. But along with that, I wanted to talk about the last video I did. If you're not familiar, I've got an old Pontiac that was on this property way out back when I bought it, 1936. And I've got a couple videos out there on it. And I had a guy from Michigan who was interested in buying it. And so he asked if I could go uncover it a little better, because it's back there in a certain amount of brush, and give him some better pictures of some of the sheet metal stuff that's on it. So that last video was just that. That was the reason for that. Not because I thought you guys all wanted to see it, but because this guy wanted something a little better. Rather than send the guy 4 million pictures or find a place to do that, I just did it on video. Well, in the description of that video and in the title was the word weed. Now I'm only speculating, but I got a notice when I posted that video, and when I posted it, I monetized it, and I got a notice that said it wasn't suitable for YouTube advertisers. And that video had the only audio in that video was music that I had used in previous videos. So I knew that it had nothing to do with anything anybody said. There was no cursing or anything of that nature. And I wondered, what else could it be? And it was just pictures, video of me cutting brush down and doing a little walk around the car and all that. And the conclusion I came to was that I used the word weed in the title and the description and some of the keywords and things of that nature. At least that's the only thing I can figure out. If you have a little more insight to that, now I submitted a request for review because I didn't feel that that it was unsuitable for for advertising, and they had since returned it to monetization. So now I know in the past this happened to me one time before when I used a little audio clip of a Benny Hill piece of music, and they demonetized that. You can do that request, but then when I did that, they said that they don't do those reviews unless a video gets like 1,000 views in a 7-day period or something of that nature. Well, my videos don't typically do that good, so they just weren't going to review it. But anyway, I just thought you guys might be interested in that. If you're watching because you're another YouTube guy, that's something that's going on. One of the things that I've done for business, I don't know if you guys know it or not, but I am a dealer for a company called Strange Engineering. If you're into drag racing, and they even do some circle track stuff, but Strange Engineering makes brakes and axles and gears and driveline stuff, drive shaft, and I am a dealer. I'll give you a little bit of background. This actually goes back many years, and you can become a dealer for different companies different ways. And the way it worked with Strange Engineering was they had a certain amount of, they had what they call a buy-in, and so I had to give them a certain, a pretty sizable chunk of money. Now I got all that back in product, and I could have, told them what I wanted and received product immediately. So I became a dealer by basically just paying them, buying a large volume of their product. But since I'm not the kind of facility, I don't have a storefront, I don't move a lot of product. And in fact, a lot of what I do with Strange Engineering is because somebody needs a set of axles or something of that nature for the race car. And maybe I'm, let me get right back. Okay, sorry about that. I had somebody come over and was going to give me a hand bending a roll bar hoop. I'll show you that for here in just a minute. Back to Strange. What I ended up doing, what I was saying was that typically in the past what I've done is that I get sell that stuff because the customer wants a set of axles, and they order off of me because I'll actually measure everything up, make sure they get the right thing. And so basically the money I make is by is really for measuring them up. I typically give my customers a little bit of a discount. I don't want to say exactly, what they're seeing is somewhere between 6 and 8% for some items. Some things I don't even get a discount on. Some things, what the price is on the website is what I actually pay for it, like a ring and pinion, for instance, because Strange actually buys ring and pinions. They don't manufacture them. So unless it's something they manufacture, I don't even, as a dealer, get a discount. I think even like they sell Wilwood brakes in addition to their own Strange brakes, and which I'm not sure why they do that, but I can actually get Wilwood brakes through Summit cheaper than I can through Strange being a dealer. But anyway, the point I want to make is that what I did here, Strange had a sale. They actually did this on Black Friday, and I was able to get a little discount for a customer that ordered a set of brakes from me that was here local. But again, at the first of the year, they had a sale. Geez, I don't know how long it ran, to like January 2nd or something of that nature. And you had to place your order online. And as a dealer, it was a 10% off sale, so I got 10% off the price that I pay even. So what I did was on Facebook, I put out an ad. Like I say, typically the stuff that I've sold is for people that actually walk into the shop. Now, it may even be that I have it drop shipped to them, to their home, but usually somebody comes in, hands me cash, writes a check, something of that nature. I've never sold to somebody that I've never had set my eyes on. But what we did during that sale was I put an ad on Facebook, and they've been bugging me to promote something from the Defender Chassis Facebook page, and they were going to give me $10 for free to do that. So I said, you know what? Let's do this. Let's put an ad out there and say, you know, while Strange is doing this 10% off sale, Defender Chassis is going to give you another 6 to 8% off if you order through us. So, and I limited those ads to the state of Ohio and the state of West Virginia, just because I've never tried this before, and I knew I was going to get some people that, you know, were going to want to use a credit card. Now, I don't have a way to accept credit cards, but I do have a way to bill through PayPal. So what I did was I just took their order and then sent them an invoice through PayPal. They paid that, and then I paid the order. And you know, this kind of stuff, you know, makes me nervous because, you know, I don't really make that much money off this stuff. And if I were to get cheated on one order, you know, $600, $700 worth of stuff, I'd have to sell a lot to make that up. So anyway, everything worked out very well. And if you're one of my customers that ordered and you're out there watching this, listen, I sure do appreciate it. I'm thinking about doing a little bit more of this kind of stuff, and maybe, you know, I mean, if it's worth it to pay the advertising, whether it be Facebook or some other avenue. And if you guys got some ideas, if you're watching and you've been through this kind of stuff before, hey, leave me a little comment. Let me know what you think and what maybe you do differently, or, you know, things that maybe other opportunities that you might suggest that I chase. But anyway, the next thing I want to talk about. The last couple of weeks, I've looked into purchasing a CNC plasma. And I know what I'd like to get. What I'd like to get is JD Squared. I know there's a lot of plasma tables out there, and everybody says, oh, you can do a little better, and you know, you get a little better price, a couple $1,000s cheaper if you order off this guy or that guy. The thing is, I've got a relationship with JD Squared. Now, they don't know me from Adam, but my vendor is JD Squared. I got about $3,000 worth of material through them, and my experience with them has been that they are top-notch. In the last 2 years at the PRI show, I've spoken to the owner of JD Squared, and I just really get the feel that he's a real square guy. And in addition to that, John Saunders, if you watch NYC CNC, Saunders Machine Works, up in Zanesville, Ohio, which is just about an hour and 15 minutes from here. He replaced, I'm not sure what he had before, whether it was a plasma cam or something else. It was one of the more popular names that you've heard of. Anyway, he replaced his with a JD Squared. And I think that was the one that dated all the way back to when he was actually in New York City. And I don't know whether he replaced it with another 4x4 or whether he got a 4x8 or a 5x10. But anyway, I have sent him a couple messages and talked to him about what plasma cutter he got and if he still had with the table and all that. And you know, I really respect him. And if he researched it and that's what he picked, and he's still happy with it a year, 2 years later, then that's the way I'm going to go. But the reason I bring this up before any of this even happens, and I'm still not set that I'm going to buy one, but JD Squared has a financing company that they deal with. And I went ahead and tested, you know, dipped my toe in the water to see what kind of a deal they would offer. And this is the reason I'm including this, is that you guys, if you're starting a business and you're trying to do this kind of stuff, you really need to be wary of people that will take advantage of you. They said that they would finance. Now, you know, a normal bank wouldn't touch me right now because I'm effectively not making any money. Last year was a wash, you know, so a bank is going to look at me at this stage of the game and say, you know, we're not going to loan you any money because you're not making any money. Now, I'm not afraid that I'm going to be able to pay for this, but what was interesting was the finance company wanted to see, you know, one of the benefits was that I did have a business license all the way back to 2008. So effectively, I've been in business 10 years to them, even though there was a lot of those years that I made $0. But anyway, the guy gets back with me and he says, hey, you know, good news. We're going to be able to finance you on that new piece of equipment with no money down and anywhere from a 1 to 5 year term, depending on what kind of payments you want to make. And so I said, well, I can't, you know, 1 and 2. If I could pay for it in 1 year, I wouldn't finance it for 1 year. So 2 years is probably out as well. The payments probably be too high. So let's look at what you can do between 3 and 5. And I don't have the numbers right here in front of me, but I remember the 3 year was like $800 and some, something of that nature, and the 5 year took it down to below 600, like $500 some. But the guy couldn't tell me what the interest rate was, or wouldn't tell me what the interest rate was. He said, this is not really a loan, it's a lease. But he said, now, you know, don't be wary, you know, the equipment's yours. When you make the last payment, the equipment's all yours. It's not, you know, you're not actually leasing the equipment. And so that's when, you know, my radar starts going off, thinking, I don't know, well, you know, this sounds like somebody selling me a bill of goods here. So he gives me the numbers, and I said, well, what's it going to cost me after, you know, if I have early payoff? And he said, oh, we give you a 3 to 5% discount if you pay it off early. And I said, well, you know, wait a minute, that seems kind of funky to me. You know, you're not going to give me, if I buy it and make one payment, and you're going to give me 3 to 5% off the balance when you barely had time to add any interest. So I don't know how they're working this deal out, but later that night after he gave me those numbers, I checked, and with those payments, it was the table and cutter that I want, a little over $19,000. It was going to end up costing me in 3 years. It was going to cost me between $29,000 and $30,000. So I calculated, when I was able to get to a mortgage calculator, I calculated the interest rate. That works out to 26% interest, which is just absolutely ridiculous. So, be very wary that, there are people out there that will take advantage of you. In fact, I'm still going to work with JD Squared because I know that's the piece of equipment I want, but I'm going to have a serious conversation with them about what this finance company that they're allowing to be connected with their company, the kind of things that they're doing, because there is absolutely no way I would finance that. I mean, it was going to basically $20,000 worth of equipment out in 3 years. I was going to have to pay an additional $10,000. So, that's just, I find it unbelievable. But anyway, more on that plasma table as that all develops. A change of format. It's been 3 weeks since we did the shop update, and looking at the channel and what I wanted to do, and I think one of the reasons why this channel is not growing is the type of content. And I think people don't mind seeing the shop update, but they want to see stuff happen and how things go. And I got a lot of videos that I want to do, but I don't have a lot of time dedicated to it. So what we're going to do is the shop updates, where before I said they were going to be every 2 weeks. I think I'm going to do them when I think it's time to do them, when it feels like I need to do an update. And we might get to a point where I'm doing them every week. But from here on out, I'm going to try to get some videos completed of some things that I think will appeal to not just my subscribers, but to a broad range. And there are some of those things that you can do videos on, like toolbox storage ideas, and that's going to get a lot of views. I did one a while back on why you should buy Snap-on tools, which was a response to another YouTuber's video on why you shouldn't. And those are the kind of videos you can do. But I don't want to go down that path. But I do want to show more about some of the projects I do in the shop. So look for that format change, and give me some input if you're something you want to see, or a lot of the stuff I do, I think maybe I take it for granted that I'm not really helping somebody by showing them, because it's in my mind it may be simple, but maybe it's something that you want to see. So let me know if that's the case. Let's talk about the work that got completed since the last video. The last shop update, I showed you a Ford truck that we were going to do a roll bar in, and we went through some changes on how we were going to do that, and I had delay on some material, things of that nature, and I'm just now starting to bend the tube for that, but that's why we delayed here a minute ago. My dad showed up and helped me bend the main hoop for that truck, but I'll show you that in a minute. But other things that have happened, and the reason we're even pointed towards this corner of the shop, is off my right-hand side here, this cabinet. This was the cabinet that was sitting over there in pieces. In fact, a year and a half ago, I tore that thing apart and wanted to get it all cleaned up, painted, and fixed. Did a little video on filling some holes in the side of it where somebody run screws in it, and we used different ways to back it up to fill those holes with a MIG welder. So anyway, since the last update, I decided, since we were painting doors for the office, which is the only work that got completed up there, and I'll show you that stuff later on. But I was painting the doors the same color gray that we painted this. I went ahead and got a can of blue spray paint, got that all sanded down, got stuff painted. I've got it together now. You'll see there is a piece of 3/4 inch MDF, medium density fiberboard, as a top, which is not going to hold up real well. And what I want to do is I want to make a piece of aluminum to cover that with. I don't have a sheet of what I want to use, like 080, 090 aluminum. It should be like 3/32 of an inch. That's probably 12, 14 gauge, something along those lines. I don't have a piece big enough right now to do that, and I'm not going to go buy a complete sheet to chop up to make that. But in the future, when I get an offcut or something, or another project, we'll make an aluminum top for that. Otherwise, if you remember, there was a sheet goods storage rack off my left-hand shoulder here, and that thing was just, I couldn't get to these two cabinets up above, and it was just cumbersome. There was a lot of stuff in there that I didn't know was in there, and I haven't solved that problem, but I did pull the sheet goods off. And let me swing the camera around here and let you look. It's all stacked against this wall, and that's not where I want it to be. This is not the best system, but it is easier to see what I've got now, and easier to get to it instead of having all that stuff jammed back in that cabinet. So that cabinet was torn apart, and I've gotten rid of the plywood. It was probably 3 sheets of 3/4 inch plywood to make the doggone thing. I didn't build it, but anyway, that's going to be about it. Swing you around here and let you look. There is the hoop. We just bent that hoop up for that truck over there. So listen, I appreciate you guys watching. Don't forget, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Not sure what's going to be yet. Probably, I've got some samples of some Docol R8 tubing, which is the chromoly replacement that's out of Europe if you're not familiar, and I'm going to test it out and see how I like bending and coping and welding it, and just get some feedback on, from somebody who does this kind of work, first experience with it, what my thoughts are. So look for that coming up, and I'll see you then. So thanks for watching.